Hey y'all, here goes part 2 of our trig lesson. Now we're going to go back and we're going to find the measure of each side indicated. We already found the angles, now we're going to find the sides. And so, same thing, we want to figure out what we're going to use, sine, cosine, or tangent, and then we're going to go about solving it. So we're looking for this side, and this side is across from the 90-degree angle, so it's the hypotenuse. Since we have the hypotenuse that we're looking for, and we're given this 11, we have to figure out what 11 is. Is it opposite or adjacent? Well, the angle that we're given is right here, angle B, 37 degrees. So this side, 11, is adjacent to B because it touches B. Opposite B would be over here, and I don't have anything over here. So this is adjacent to B, and this is the hypotenuse. So adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So the cosine of 37 degrees, this time I have something to find the cosine of, different than when we were looking for the angle. The cosine of 37 degrees equals adjacent 11 over hypotenuse x. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to get x by itself. Well, x is in the denominator, so I'm going to have to multiply both sides by x to get it out of the denominator. These cancel, and I have 11 equals cosine 37 degrees x. Well, x is still not by itself, so now I'm going to divide both sides by cosine 37 degrees. Okay, cosine 37 degrees cancels, and I have x equals 11 over cosine 37 degrees. And now I can put that in the calculator. I have 11 divided by, and I'm going to put the whole denominator in parentheses so it doesn't leave out anything. 11 divided by the cosine of 37, close the parenthesis on the 37, and then close the parenthesis on the whole denominator. So that's why there's two parentheses there at the end. And enter. And that would be 13 point, what does it tell me to round to? The nearest tenth. So that's 13.8. So the hypotenuse, or x, would be 13.8. And always make sure that your answer makes sense. If this side's 11, we know that this side has to be longer. And 13.8 is longer than 11, but it's not like 138. That would be way too long. For this to be 11, this is not going to be that much more than 11. So I just used 138. I just threw that out there. But I'm just saying, make sure that your answer makes sense. 13.8 seems very reasonable if this is 11 and this is going to be somewhat longer. Okay, let's take a look at number 10. In number 10, the angle that we're working with is angle A. It's 32 degrees. And the sides that we have are opposite that angle and adjacent to that angle. In this one, I don't have the hypotenuse. AB would be the hypotenuse, the one across from the C, but I don't have the hypotenuse here. And when I have opposite and adjacent, I'm working with tangent. Go SOCO your TOA. TOA is the TOA. Tangent equals opposite over adjacent. So the tangent of 32 degrees equals opposite, which is x, over adjacent, which is 13. Now this one's much easier than number 9 because the x isn't on the bottom like it was here. The x is on the top. So all I have to do is multiply both sides by 13, and I get 13 times tangent 32 equals, these cancel, and I have x. So, get out my calculator, and I say 13 times the tangent of 32 degrees, and that's 8.1. So x equals 8.1. Now let's make sure that that makes sense. X is the opposite. It's this little short side, 8.1. This is 13. 8.1 is more than half, and this looks like it's just somewhat more than half of 13. So looks reasonable to me. Does it look reasonable to you? I thought so. All right. Heading on down to number 11. We're looking for this side. This side is opposite angle A, which is 50.1 degrees. So this is the opposite side. Across from the 90-degree angle would be the hypotenuse, but I don't have anything there, so I'm not using that. And 5 touches angle A, which is what I'm working with. It's 50.1. 5 touches it, so it's the adjacent side. So what I have is opposite and adjacent. So once again, I'm working with tangent. So I say the tangent of 50.1 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. Again, the x is not in the bottom, so all I have to do is multiply both sides by 5, and I get 5 tangent 50.1 equals, these 5's cancel, and I get x. So x equals, here comes the calculator, x equals 5 times tangent 50.1, and that is 5.97, which would round off to 6, because the 7 would make the 9 round up to 10, which carries over. So 6 is what we end up with here. X equals 6. So if this side is 5, this side is 6, does that make sense? It's just a little bit longer, so that should make sense. Okay, and then number 12, you have a 60-degree angle right here. Now this is a special triangle. I'm not going to go into special triangles right now, but a 30, 60, 90 is a special triangle. And I know this is a 30, 60, 90 because all triangles add up to 180. If this is 90 and this is 60, that's 150, and 180 minus 150 would be 30. So this would be a 30-degree angle. But what I'm working with here is just finding this side x. And so in doing that, I'm going to say this is adjacent to the 60-degree angle. And what is this? It's across from the hypotenuse. So it has, I gave that one away. It's across from the 90-degree angle, so it is the hypotenuse. So I have adjacent and hypotenuse, which again is cosine. They just don't like using sine on here. I don't know why they don't use sine ever. But this is cosine, adjacent and hypotenuse. That's the ka in so ka your toa. So cosine of 60 degrees equals adjacent x over hypotenuse 11. I multiply both sides by 11, and I get 11 times cosine 60 degrees equals, the 11's cancel, and I have x. So x equals, and then I just get out my calculator, plug it right on in, 11 times cosine 60, and that's 5.5. Okay, so let's look at it. X looks like it would be about half of the hypotenuse. So 5.5 is exactly what we needed there. Okay, so looking back up just real quick, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but just looking back up, when you're looking for an angle, you say cosine of theta, because that's the angle, we don't know what it is. Cosine theta equals the adjacent 12 over the hypotenuse 13. Then you just plug it into the calculator, only you do it as an inverse because you don't know what theta is. So you're going to say, you're going to say cosine inverse with the -1 of 12 divided by 13. And that's 22.6. That's how we did the angle. And then we just did the sides. Okay, there you go.